resignation from PDP. Senate set to begin screening of INEC chairman nominee. Police arrest kidnapped suspects in River State. NMA reveals outcome of Nnamdi Kanu medical test. On the foreign scene, African Union suspends Madagascar after military takeover. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili with the news. We begin this afternoon's bulletin with reaction from the resignation of the Bayelsa State Governor Doyediri from the People's Democratic Party. Speaking on Nigerian FM's Morning Crossfire, Daniel Alabra, who is the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Doyediri, said the governor's resignation is strategic and in the best interest of the with any political party, adding that
he's not a member of the APC at the moment. The proper thing to do is what the governor did. You leave the platform and you can later announce the platform you are going to. So when it gets to the time that he will tell us the next platform that he will want to part of, he will tell us.
The Chief Press Secretary added that the lack of clear ideology among political parties in the country continues to drive politicians to 2023. Speaking at a road, the PDP are now in the ruling party. 2023. Speaking at a road, the PDP are now. He insists their defection proves his support for Tinubu was the right move. Former governor and serving Senator Seriake Dixon, still remains with the People's Democratic Party despite the defection of Bayelsa State Governor Doyediri. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja, Dixon said the PDP has given the Niger Delta a strong voice in national politics and stressed the importance of a vibrant opposition for Nigeria's democracy. He said even if the party cannot be saved, there must always be an alternative to the ruling party. Now let's tell you that any moment from now, the INEC chairman nominee, Professor Joash Almopito, will soon arrive at the National Assembly chamber. He is due to be screened and confirmed for the position of the chairman of INEC. A notice from the Office of the Secretary, Research and Information says the
You also know that
a related story. The president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Alpha Mosigwe, says what matters most in Nigeria's elections is honesty and fairness, not the dates they are held. He said this while reacting to the National Assembly's proposal to shift the 2027 general election date. He spoke to our correspondent, Soyibi Oruwari.
Is the most important issue of the integrity of our electoral process. Holding them early while the laws allow for malpractices and why the adjudication of the cases continue to lead to confusion and contradictions leaves a problem yet to be solved. So also working on the integrity of the electoral process is, to me, much more important than the time when the elections take place. Because whether they take place in the morning or afternoon or the evening and lack integrity, then we have a bigger problem.
Osigwe explained that the proposed change could help address some long-standing issues in the electoral system.
The elections are held in good time or have adequate time to resolve the electoral disputes before swearing in. Are welcome. Because there has been this long agitation that people should not be sworn in while their declaration as winners has been challenged. And if you agree that that is a legitimate agitation, then any amendment that addresses that solves one of our myriads of problems. When you cannot, because somebody is hungry and somebody is not wearing clothes, say that if clothes comes first, he should not wear clothes because food has not come.
However, he cautioned that courts should not be too involved in pre-election matters and expressed hope that the reforms will fix that.
But yes, I support any move that ensures that elections are held and electoral disputes are resolved. And we should reduce the timeline for the hearing of the cases. 6 months, 180 days is too much. And also the negative impact of the electoral process on our court system needs to be reduced. The pre-election matter should be taken away from our courts. Parties should be allowed to resolve their disputes and bring forward whoever they want. The court shouldn't be involved in choosing candidates for political parties.
However, Secretary of the Obedience
Act put strict timelines to events of political parties and leave enough time
timetable will give parties enough time to prepare for the 2027 polls.
The early 2027 dates for the election is fair enough, and it gives enough time before the handover. So I don't see any cogent reason why elections should be moved in 2026, if not for some sinister reason. So in politics, there are those that it will favor and there are those that it will not favor. There are some that will speak for and some that will speak against. You would usually see that in this kind of... My own position is that for the interest of fair play for everyone, the calendar should be left as it is.
Well, away from that, and back here in Port Harcourt, the fate of Damian Okoligwe, a 400-level petrochemical engineering student at Uniport, accused of killing his girlfriend, Justina Otwene, will be decided on November 28. 2 years ago, Justina's decomposing body was found in Damian's apartment. At the time, police said a neighbor reported a foul smell, which led officers to force open his door, where they discovered a Ghana Must Go bag containing the body. The trial began in May 2024, 2 months after the Rivers State government took over the case. On Wednesday, the trial judge, Justice Chinwe Nsirim, fixed the judgment date after taking the final written addresses from both the state prosecutor, Obadiah Charles Mbaba, and the defense counsel, Ibikiri Oto. Justice Nsirim says judgment will come after reviewing all argument and evidence presented. In the meantime, the River State Police have arrested 2 suspects linked to the abduction of a 24-year-old woman in Iwechi on September 21st. Police spokesperson Grace Iringikoko identified them as 25-year-old Ifechukwu Alozie and 25-year-old Miracle Wimene. She says they were arrested a day after the incident at their hideout in Igwe-Eche. According to her, the suspect confessed to luring the victim through a dating site, abducting her and collecting 200,000 naira ransom before her release. Iringikoko added that the suspects remain in custody while efforts are on to arrest other members of the gang still at large. The victim has since been debriefed and reunited with her family. Away from crime to some relief, the Chief Judge of River State, Justice Simeon Chibozo Amadi, has released 14 inmates from the Port Harcourt Correctional Center. The inmates were freed during a jail delivery exercise on Wednesday to mark the end of the 2024-2025 legal year and the start of the new legal year. Justice Chibozo Amadi explained that those released had spent long periods in custody without trial, had missing case files, were detained beyond legal periods, or had cases that merited reconsideration.
This exercise is not a mere ritual to usher in the new legal year. It is a constitutional and humanitarian exercise rooted in the power vested in me as the Chief Judge. Under the administration of criminal justice law in Rivers State, we are here to restore hope where it has been deemed and reaffirm the judiciary role as the last hope of the common man, ensuring that no individual is made to suffer unjustly due to administrative lapses, procedural delay, or systematic inefficiencies.
He said the number of awaiting trial inmates has reduced since he assumed office.
Under my watch, the judiciary has remained committed to doing its part by fast-tracking criminal trial, monitoring remand orders, and ensuring that no one is detained beyond what the law allows. My past gold delivery exercise, particularly the one conducted in July this year, wherein 21 deserving inmates were released, and the drastic reduction of inmates awaiting trial from over 4,000 when I came on board as the Chief Judge to less than 1,000 as shown in the Nigerian Correctional Service 180 days quarterly returns of June 2025.
Justice Amadi reaffirmed the judiciary's commitment to decongesting correctional facilities and urged the freed inmates to live responsibly.
Let me assure everyone here, especially our brothers and sisters in custody, that the Rivers State Judiciary will continue to stand for fairness, fairness, due process, and respect for human dignity. Justice must not only be done, it must be seen and felt. I therefore admonish the beneficiaries of today's exercise who are involved in exhibiting characters injurious to peaceful coexistence to turn a new leaf and make themselves useful to their families and the society at large.
Correspondent Mekotoka reports that with this latest exercise, the Chief Judge has now released 41 inmates this legal year, while magistrates have freed 109 others, making a total of 150. Still to come, NMA reveals outcome of Nnamdi Kanu's medical test. Stay with us. The ailment complained about by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, is not life-threatening. Justice James Omotosho had ordered the medical team to ascertain Kanu's actual health status following conflicting claims on the issue by medical experts engaged by the prosecution and the defense. In the panel's report submitted to the court on October 13 by the prosecution team led by Adeboyega Awomolo, part of which was read in open court during Thursday's proceedings, it was stated that the defendant's ailment is not life enemy in the trial. And now we move straight to business. Some stakeholders say the much-anticipated relief from the Dangote refinery still feels far away for Rivers people. Now, they spoke following the recent hike in petrol pump prices and the cost of cooking gas across the country, despite earlier assurances that the refinery would help bring prices down. The Eastern Zonal Secretary of IPMAN, Inimwa Emmanuel, told our correspondent Soibi Oruware that although Dangote trucks have started arriving, the supply volume is still too small to meet demand.
We have support refineries as well, artisanal modular refineries. We have Niger Delta refineries. We have Walter Smith. These are refineries that are also loading every day. Not necessarily Dangote feeding the entire River State. No, this is just a chunk of it coming from Lagos. Okay, you say you're bringing direct to the stations in River State. How many are we getting? How many are we receiving per day to River State? These are things we need to look at.
Also, Nubank's Port Harcourt representative Uche Odua says he has not seen any significant deliveries from the refinery in the state.
For us, we've not seen, I think clearly, what we've heard, even though we've not confirmed, we've heard that one or two persons have peaked. Our concern is where you bring in maybe drivers, for example, and then they haulage these products to people, and then at the end of the day, our interest is in the workers you are employing. How are they protected?
In entertainment, Ira Star and Rema have just confirmed the collabo that everyone has been waiting for. The announcement follows weeks of speculation after a viral onstage moment between the two during the Global Citizen Festival in New York City on September 27, where fans caught what appeared to be an intimate exchange mid-performance. In sports, Ahmedabad, India, has been recommended as the host city for the 2030 Commonwealth Games. Commonwealth Sports announced on Wednesday that the Indian city has been chosen ahead of a rival bid from Abuja in Nigeria to host the event, which will be the Commonwealth Games centenary.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
The African Union has told AFP that it was suspending Madagascar with immediate effect after a coup saw an elite army unit seize power following President Andrea Rajolina's impeachment. AU Commission Chair Mahmoud Ali Yusuf said this after Madagascar's top court confirmed Colonel Michael Radrianirina as president. The military leadership under Colonel Michael Radrianirina has promised elections within 2 years after President Andrea Rajolina was impeached following weeks of popular demonstrations. The United Nations has called the takeover as unconstitutional. Well, that's the news we have. But just before we go, here are the major stories we brought you this hour. You heard that the EFCT minister, Nyesom and the media aide to Bayelsa State Governor have reacted to Governor Diri's resignation from the PDP. The Senate is set to begin screening of INEC chairman nominee. Police have arrested kidnapped suspect in River State. Anime says Nnamdi Kano's health situation is not life-threatening and that he is fit to stand trial. On the foreign scene, the African Union said it has suspended Madagascar after military takeover. The news was edited by Onyeka Chimusu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili. Many thanks for listening.